You're listening to the Goal Digger Podcast, episode 145. Today, I am talking all about the lessons I've learned leading my first mastermind. And oh my goodness, if you have no idea what a mastermind is, you are in for a treat. This year, I set out to lead 25 different women from all over the country and the world and walk them through as their business mentor and to really just inspire ideas and to create a community that is really encouraging one another to achieve their biggest goals. Before we dive into today's show, I want to share the review of the week that comes from Marielle O. She says, "What's not to love? Jenna is sweet and to the point in her message. I love to listen when I need business and divine inspiration. Her tips are helpful and free. I love to follow her adventures and struggles because that is what we all go through. Ups, downs, everything in between while running a business." Thank you so much, Marielle. You guys, these iTunes reviews, I know we asked for them, but let me tell you, they mean so much to me. They mean so much to me. So if you have a minute today, if you've been enjoying the show, if it's touched your life in any way, would you just hit pause and leave a review? It's really simple. And if you're not quite sure how to do it, head to my Instagram and in my stories, I walk you through just how to do it. It is the easiest way you can say thank you to me and my team for putting this content together. Now, what do you say? Are you guys ready to hear all about my mastermind and the big lessons I learned? Let's do this.
You're listening to the Goal Digger Podcast, where we firmly believe that work doesn't have to feel like work. Self-made millionaire and marketing guru Jenna Kutcher will help you redefine what success looks like. It's time to hear from the experts, listen in on honest conversations, and learn the best tips and tricks that helped others pave their own way and craft their dream career. If you're ready to dig in, do the work, and tackle your biggest goals, you're in the right place. Here's your host, educator, photographer, and mac and cheese lover, Jenna Kutcher.
Thank you to Weebly for supporting this episode of the Goal Digger Podcast. Building a website has never been easier. Go to Weebly.com/goaldigger to get 15% off of your first purchase and start building a successful online business today. That's Weebly.com/goaldigger. Now let's dive on into today's show. So back in January, I hosted my first ever mastermind retreat. Now, if you have no idea what a mastermind is, I encourage you to listen to episodes 71 and 64. I walk you through what they are, why I think they're important, and how being in one absolutely transformed my life. So what better way to kick off 2018 than to start it with a bang as I hosted my first ever retreat. And if you follow me for a while, you know I'm not a huge fan of events. They are so much work. I always joke that if I host an event, I want it to be yoga pants and puppies and mac and cheese. And so the fact that I kicked off this year hosting a retreat with 25 women, man, you can see the change in who I am. Now, these women flew in from all over the country and Canada, and we gathered together in Waco, Texas, where we spent 3 days diving into their lives, digging into their businesses, and helping them establish the dreams and set the goals that they want to achieve over the next year. Now, I chose Waco. It's a favorite place of mine. I've been there many times. And of course, Joanna Gaines lives there. And it was just a perfect place to kick off the year. My mom actually joined my team a few months back when I had the idea to do a mastermind to help coordinate the logistics of hosting a 3-day event. And she found this incredible retreat center. It's called Gathering Oaks. And everyone was able to just stay on site and be together and really foster relationships that are so important when it comes to a mastermind. So to kind of give you a breakdown, you can go to jennakutcher.com/mastermind if you want to read more about what this is, get information, and even get on the wait list. We are full for the year, but I plan on doing one next year. And it's just been the most life-giving thing I have ever done in my entire career. So basically how it goes is throughout the year, we meet up in person 3 times at different locations where we all come together and we troubleshoot things in our business. We learn new techniques. I teach strategies that I'm implementing, and we just come together as a community as a whole. And so hosting a mastermind, it's a lot of work, but what I think is so incredible is that I have the opportunity to pour into these 25 women throughout the entire year. I get to be their accountability partner. I get to to be their cheerleader, and I get to be their teacher. And if you know anything about me, I'm all strategy. I love strategy. And so getting to troubleshoot other people's strategies alongside of them, teach them how to launch, teach them how to grow their list, teach them how to outsource and build their team, man, that lights me up. I hope you can just feel the smile on my face when I talk about this. And I talked about why I don't offer one-on-one coaching in an episode on this show. And so today I want to break down the 5 big lessons I learned from leading a mastermind and share a little bit about that experience. Now, I get asked all the time to do one-on-one coaching, and my biggest driver in life is to make an impact. And what I found is when I was doing one-on-one coaching and consulting, I was telling people the same things over and over and over again. And it wasn't really fun for me. And I knew that there had to be a better way to do it. And so what's amazing about the mastermind is that we're bringing in all of these different entrepreneurs from different areas. They all have different careers. They're working in different niches. And so we're bringing them all together and we can learn from each other. It's pretty incredible. So the first big lesson I learned while leading the mastermind is the power of community. Now, the best part of it is the power of coming together with other people who get it. And basically what I found is that so often we're working with our heads down, we're in total isolation. Even our families don't really understand what it is that we do to make a living. And so when you can come together and be among others who are striving to improve, who are reaching for more and driven to make it happen, it's contagious. A mastermind facilitates conversations that go deep and fosters relationships that go beyond the small talk. That paired with accountability create this energy that is palpable, and it's so hard to describe. So for me, when I joined a mastermind, it was so important for me to be around people that were really pursuing not just more income, but more impact. And so I wanted to throw myself into a room where I literally felt like the dumbest person, because that's when you learn, that's when you're stretched. But what I wasn't expecting when I joined a mastermind was that I was going to be around these people who were doing really big things. And when you are around people that are doing big things, you start to believe that you can do big things too. It totally changes the narrative in your head, changes those conversations, those inner mean girl dialogues that are happening. And you start to see, like, if these people are doing this, why can't I? And so the power of community goes beyond just, let me tell you what I'm doing or share my secrets, but it becomes this almost sisterhood where it says, like, I will lift you up and you're lifting me up and we're all going to be better together. And one of the things that I want to share that I think is really personal, but I think it's really important, is that I worried about starting a mastermind because sometimes our human hearts tell us that it's not possible to cheer other people on, that we start to believe that her success is my failure. One of my friends, Tosh, said that. And what I think is so important about that quote and that line is that when we talk about community, our human hearts, I don't think are wired for that. I think that we are wired to be competitive. We are wired to desire more. And so I was worried as a leader, like, am I genuinely going to want every single person to be better? And oh my goodness, was I ever blown away at our first retreat when I left feeling so excited about each and every single woman that was there, that was in attendance, that was learning. So the power of community is number one. Number two is that we are all struggling. Now, when you show up into a space and you can admit that you don't have it all together and acknowledge that you are gifted and it's awesome, but hey, I don't have it all figured out. That is the secret sauce. One irreplaceable part of a mastermind is that those that join are brave enough to admit that they need help figuring things out and putting the pieces of the confusing entrepreneurial puzzle together. Now, it was a lot of girls, right? Like, we have a lot of estrogen, it's true. And many tears were shed and many revelations were discovered and many stories were told. But at the heart of it was this group of women who weren't afraid to be vulnerable, who weren't afraid to admit that at times they flail, and who were ready to ask for help. And far too often we show up to spaces with our guards up and we believe that people expect perfect from us. But showing up in the struggle is one of the most courageous ways to ensure that you are going to grow and learn. Now, what I loved about this mastermind is that these women showed up and they knew they were gifted and they